Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Titi and I do webtoon related content. If you've been along for this ride, for this whole let's play ride, thank you. I see you. I appreciate you. First thing first, I like to say thank you for the love of my last video. I don't little old me, like all that. Thank you. So that's number one. Number two is I'm wearing a microphone. Let me know if it makes a difference. Let me know if it actually helps. Yeah, let's get right into the video. This is season 3, final season. We're in the final stretch. Let's go. Okay, so from where we dropped off, it was Sam and Charles in Sam's bedroom. It looked like they were going to do. Obviously, they weren't going to do anything because she was drunk off her ass. So they didn't do anything. Nothing happened between them as expected, where we pick up on. They do some more stuff when she eventually wakes up and she's sober. We get a little bit backstory on Marshall. He has this overbearing father who puts a lot on expectations on both him and his sister Ava. And we also see like the development of that, his like persona, having to create this whole martial law persona to kind of cheer up the people in his life and to kind of escape that part of himself. From what we know, I think their mom is okay, but their dad is really like the terrible one. The next episode, we see Sam being like embarrassed. Charles is like, hey, you don't have to be embarrassed. We can take things slow. Charles then takes her home. She also asks him to come inside her flat. And Charles tells her that it would be better for their relationship if she's the one who kind of like initiates things instead of him. And also he's going to be like driving her to work as well. Okay, so in the next chapter, Marshall still has nightmares and trouble sleeping. He's also keeping up with yoga with Vicky at her yoga studio. Link also finds out that Dallas, his younger brother, is the one who's been stealing tissue paper from the cafe that he works at. He confronts Dallas. It turns out that Dallas has been stealing the tissue paper to like do like cosplay. He takes Link to the cafe to apologize to Dee. And Dee's like, okay, you know what? He can make it up by working in the cafe with them. In the next chapter, Sam is watching Marshall's gameplay of her game, and she loves it. She's really excited, and she's thinking to herself, damn, Marshall and Charles played the games in such different ways, played her game in such different ways. She's thinking to herself, how would I have played it if I wasn't the creator of the game? And then Marshall and Sam talk a little bit about how much she loved his video. In the next chapter, Charles is thinking to himself, like, gosh, Sam is just so innocent and honest. Like, she's just not like other girls. Like, he's having that whole thing to himself. He's also hoping that she doesn't get too attached. But the way that it's framed and the way the pictures is drawn, I guess he's also, like, getting affected too. And there's an issue of maybe he's also probably going to get attached as well. Because the way he dropped their relationship, he's like, this is no strings attached. Nothing can happen. Like, don't get attached to me. This is very bare bones. In the next chapter, Sam's playing a game. You know, there's a lot of in-game content in this season. She's playing a game with those her guild mates, with those her friends. Then some random player joins them. He has some importance because he does look familiar. The character's name is Dion. Then Charles picks her up to go to work, as he said that he would. Picks her up to go to work. They stop by at the cafe. Dallas and Link are having some problems like co-working the same space, you know, their brothers, that type of thing. Charles also gets to meet Angela and Vicky. Vicky, when like handshaking him, she senses with those are empath powers that yeah, this guy probably has some problems. Okay, so at work, Charles and Umed are thinking that they probably need like an internal contact to get through to Indigeneer. If you remember Indigeneer, it's the game websites that they are pitching to, and it all kind of spawned from Sam realizing that there are some serious problems with the website. People can go and rate it badly or rate it however they want without having ever actually played the game. So that's kind of how that whole thing spawned out. So Umed and Charles are like, we probably need an internal contact. Sam proposes Marshall because, you know, he's a big YouTuber. He has them on speed dial, that whole type thing. Okay, cool. Dee also thanks Dallas for his hard work at the cafe. And he's like, why? I didn't even do anything. And she's like, no, you helped a lot because you doing those small things left pressure off of me and off of Link. So you can kind of see like, okay, this hard work it's getting to him. Like, I guess he's enjoying the work. Sam runs into Marshall meditating at the park. Marshall tells Sam that him and Monica have broken up. Hence why I have also removed the green string from them. The green string has gone. Now I have replaced it with a gray string just to signify friends, as that is what they have decided to do. Just be friends for now. So someone is taking a picture of them, someone creepy. I think I spoke about it, about how someone with like a professional camera has been following Marshall around. Someone was taking a picture of them. Separate of that, Sam's dad has been keeping tabs on Sam. Next, Vicky calls Abe for help because she had like a serious like energy drain from meeting. Imagine being so bad vibes that you seriously physically and mentally like drain this poor girl. Like, okay, so she calls Abe for help to kind of get her energy in balance or whatever the hell. And then Sam is also thinking with her relationship with Charles, kind of do, small steps, a little touch here, a little touch there, that type of situation. Link and Angela are at the basketball court. They're doing their thing. They're playing 1v1 against each other. She's kind of flirting, do a little thing. Link is asking her, how long have you felt like this about me? And she's like, okay, I felt like this for years. At the office, Charles is talking to a very difficult client over the phone. Sam stands up for him. She kind of takes the phone away from him and she stands up to him and she's like, I am Samuel Young's daughter. Don't talk to my employee like that, or that type of stuff. When they eventually hang up, she's like, this is part of why I don't want to be CEO, having to deal with difficult people like that. She also thanks Charles for his taking up of extra responsibilities while her dad is away in Hawaii with her mom. There's also a thing about her kind of feeling like she can't ask Charles to reschedule his responsibilities and what else he has to do in his life to kind of hang out with her, purely because of what he has laid the basis and the framework for what their relationship should be. But in his head he's feeling like, no, you can ask me, I can delay that, like we can do that, we can meet up. Sam then runs into my girl Monica at the park. She tells Monica what's going on, the situation that she has with him. Monica is telling her, look, just relax, enjoy yourself, you're doing everything fine, don't panic, take a chill pill and enjoy the ride. And then Monica also asks Sam to kind of check in on Marshall from time to time. Okay, so Sam is playing a game and she's playing with that random player that she met inside the game, that his name is Dion. Dion is feeling bad about himself, he's feeling sad, so she cheers him up in game. Also, after the game finishes, she sees Marshall out of the balcony outside, and remembering Monica's request to kind of check in on him from time to time, she sees that he's kind of sad, he's looking out pensively, so she tries to cheer him up by asking about his opinions on her game, because she's starting a new game, about game design and things like that, seeing as he's interested in all that stuff. And then I will just say this. In a later chapter, it turns out that Marshall is actually that Dion character. So if you take that into consideration, we just spent an entire episode of Sam cheering up Marshall. So that's like in game and out of game. So yeah. So in the next chapter, Ava gets her lick back by doing the exact same thing that Charles did to her in the episode. I talked about it. He wrenched her face to the side, called her bitch. After that, Charles is kind of like, I can't remember what he said specifically, but he was like, yeah, like she's right though, like damn, like, and also she kind of stopped me from doing something that I probably would have regretted, because he was kind of feeling her and she did the same thing by kind of luring him in, twisting his face aside, calling him a bitch, all that type of situation. Like, I get that we're acknowledging that he did bad. I still don't have an apology. I still don't have a proper apology from my girl Ava. I'm still going to be carrying this on my head. It still pisses me off till today. Anyway, so Sam takes Monica's advice and tries to do a whole damsel in distress with Charles, kind of tease him, like, oh, I can't reach my zipper. And Charles folds. It works. Okay, so back at work, Umed tells Sam that her profile in Indigeneer has completely shot up, meaning like her rating has gone up, which would be a good thing, but she's thinking to herself and she gets upset because she's like, it doesn't really mean anything. I wanted to earn a good score. My score now is only good because it's still a trend. It's the same problem as last time, only this time it's a trend for people to rate my game positively after Marshall played my game positively. So she's upset about that, and then Charles kind of, he cheers her up, comforts her, and he's like, if it's any consolation, he really loved playing her game. So Ava actually takes Marshall to the hospital. We see a little bit more of Marshall's aversion to any kind of connection with his dad. Ava had come to pick him up in like one of his dad's car, and he was like, no, let's take our car. I'm not doing that. So we kind of see those little seeds. Then back at work, Umed had printed out a bunch of reviews for Sam to read, just to kind of cheer her up and tell her like, no, a good amount of people really enjoyed your game, regardless of Marshall's kind of influence. And Umed tells her that he actually played her game a long time ago, even before Marshall had picked up her game. So that's before even the events of season one, like the first chapter. He's like, if it's any consolation, I loved your game. So Sam is really moved by the reviews that she read. She also asks Charles into her flat as well. Marshall is fine. He gets the AOK from his doctors. He's allowed to slowly get back into physical activity. Marshall and Ava have this really touching big sister, little brother moment outside the hospital. And then all of a sudden, their dad, looking like a villain, comes out of nowhere. Marshall is immediately on edge upon seeing his father. He tries to also like shield Ava from his father. Their dad is trying to kind of extend an olive branch. He's saying, look, like, okay, fine, so I disowned you, but I disowned you because number one, you had dropped out of law school. Number two, you had gotten into jail. So, like, hey, it's not like you were the perfect son either. So that happens. Marshall isn't falling for any of it. Ava, on the other hand, is drinking the Kool-Aid and she's like, look, I mean, he's changed. That has changed. And Marshall's like, are you kidding me? Have you forgotten that mom had to run away to Japan with our little sister just to get away from him? I was like, whoa, little sister, where did we get that from? Like, I didn't know we had all that. So when they get back to his apartment, Marshall sees Charles and Sam being all close, being all, intimate and stuff. So to prevent Ava from seeing that, kind of stalls her, and then they go into Sam's flat. Okay, so in her flat, Sam and Charles have dinner. She's also asking him about his goals, what he wants out of life. She kind of gets from his answers that he plans his life based on the hurts that he received at the hands of his ex-wife who cheated on him. Also in this chapter, they do the do. So in the aftermath of doing all of that, Charles had a dream when he wakes up in Sam's bed. Charles had a dream that, Sam was his wife, looking all domestic. She was pregnant in that dream. He wakes up also at the airport. So Sam's dad is coming back from Hawaii. He's coming back. He also got a report from one of his little spies that Charles had spent the night with Sam, which is a bit crazy. Just because it's like I see. Here's the thing: I don't condone this man's actions. I don't condone his actions. I'm the first one to say you're being weird. Why are you being so involved in your adult daughter's life? But like, I'm sorry, but me too. I would low-key be like, I left you in charge of my business. I didn't say you should sleep with my daughter. I would just think that that's a little bit like, where did we lose the plot? If one is 2 plus 2 is 4, like how did we get here? In the next chapter, Charles is thanking Marshall for stalling Ava so that she didn't have to see Sam and Charles being all intimate and whatever. Marshall's like, yeah, you're welcome, but I didn't really do it for you. I did it for my sister because I knew that would probably hurt her. Then Marshall goes into the coffee shop and he sees Angela and Link talking, and they're talking about fantasy football, and he's overhearing the conversation. He's thinking to himself, I wonder if they're dating. Second point, he's thinking, I wonder what it would be like to date someone who, like, we have similar interests, because he's hearing them talk about fantasy football and he's thinking, wow, it must be nice to have a partner who likes the same things that you do. And when I saw that, I was like, you're not slick. You're not slick. I'm seeing the seeds. Anyway, it's not like they were trying to be subtle about it, but like, you could see the seeds of Marshall and Sam with that kind of comments. Like, damn, I wonder what it would be like to date someone who, like, we're so similar with our interests and stuff. And these two are very game heavy. They're very game heavy. They love games. Also in this chapter, Vicky sees Angela and Link talking, and she's kind of deduced with those are empathetic powers that Angela is starting to really trust again, trust people again, trust men again. Marshall and Monica are actually having breakfast. In the next chapter, nothing really much happens. Sam is just thinking that Charles is acting a little bit cold, a little bit detached. When we get back to Monica and Marshall, she's asking how he's doing health-wise. They also get to talking about how different they are. They don't really like the same movies. They don't really have the same favorite food. They don't really have the same outlook on what they want in life. She does not want kids. She does not see herself getting married. And he's the opposite. He wants the whole, 3 kids, white picket fence house, married. She's like, look, we have to get comfortable with our differences, because he was trying to be like, look, I mean, it's possible I could change in the near future. Who knows? Like, maybe I could want to have that kind of life that you have. And she's like, chill, chill. The purpose of us being friends is being able to be comfortable in our differences. You don't feel like you have to change or bend yourself. Like, I still like you, even though we're different. Also, that stalker is there and taking pictures. That stalker with the camera is there and taking pictures of the two of them. So in the next chapter, the company is doing a blood drive and Charles is definitely afraid of needles. He was about to like make an excuse for not being there. And then Sam asked, and then he puts a little like fourth wall breaking comments where it's like, oh gosh, and readers say that I'm manipulative. Girl, Mongi, please, let's face our fronts. Let's face our fronts. We then find out why he's afraid of needles. It's because he stepped on, one of his mother's sewing needles when he was a child. Since then, he's been deathly afraid of needles. There's a little bit of role reversal with Sam being the one to kind of comfort Charles. Then she finds out that he actually wasn't trying to be cold and detached to her in the previous chapters. He was actually just trying to keep his cool with her after they did the do. Then they do it again. And he's thinking, this girl, she's mine. She's mine. He's getting all possessive when he's looking at her sleeping, which, is what you'd want out of a guy who said this is no strings attached. So while Charles is asleep, Sam goes out. She takes Bowser, her dog, for a walk. Then she runs into Marshall. Marshall's like, hey, did you see that your rating shot up? And she tells him that, yeah, that's great. I'm so excited. I'm happy that happened, because she doesn't want to bum him out with the fact that she feels like she didn't earn it and she's actually upset. They walk back to their apartment together. They're talking about, her new game. He's asking whether, she's gotten a new artist, because if you remember, her old artist isn't doing commissions anymore. Just talking. Charles is listening in. And he's getting all jealous. I think they do like a green eye, envy, that type of situation. And I must say, remember when I said this man eavesdrops like no other? It pisses me off because there was this comment that he made and I cannot find it. And from the United Kingdom, we created etiquette. I was like, that's a very Eurocentric view. But I don't think Mongi meant it to be like that. So that's why I didn't bring it up in my last, in any of my videos, because I don't think she meant to do like that. I was like, that's very Eurocentric. Shut up. He eavesdrops a lot. Like a lot. Maybe 5 times I've counted. That's very mannerless and classless. Like, hello. So Sam and Charles, they get to work. Her dad is back at her workplace. So is her mom. Her mom's there. He is also teaching Dallas how to make coffee. He seems to be getting a lot out of the process of working in the cafe. He has less of an attitude. He's less rude. He's more, curious about things. It seems to be like a good process for him. Also, Ava is working in cahoots with her dad. She's supposed to tell Marshall something. Mongi kind of tiptoes around what she's supposed to tell him and what the end goal is. So I don't think we ever really kind of find out what the bigger plan is meant to be with bringing Marshall back into the fold of the family business. Unless that is the bigger plan, getting him back into the fold. So Sam's mom gives Sam's dad a real talking to about following their daughter, spying on, their daughter. And because of that, he disbanded the protective service that he has on her. Charles is also still thinking of the VP of operations offer that he has, because remember in my last video I said that he got an offer to be a VP of operations in one business in London. He still hasn't accepted it and he still hasn't denied it yet. So that's still on the table. Okay, so in the game that Sam plays with her friends, Dion, that random player that she has adopted under her wing, gives her this super rare dragon egg. Like, there's only one in every server. Super rare. All her friends are freaking out about it because, damn, that is crazy rare. And he gives it to her because Sam had been really nice to, his character in the game. So that's why he gifts it to her. So when they're all excited and she accepts it, you can see Dion, the character, start to panic when Sam's friends, who are all, they're all characters in this game, so they don't look like how they look in real life. You can see him start to panic when he hears Sam's friends in the game start to call each other by their real names. And he's like, oh, Oh, this is a he thought they were a random group of people. So he didn't know that the person he was friends with in the game was Sam. He didn't know that her friends were Sam's friends. So it's only just clicking for him then. And like I said earlier, Dion is Marshall. So he's realizing that this group of friends that I'm playing with, that we think, oh, this is just a random guy that we're playing with, he's realizing that he knows them. Abe then figures out that Marshall is Dion. Sam also in character gifts Marshall's character is Dion. She takes him to this kind of unfinished part of the game that's important to his character's lore, just kind of thank him for the super rare egg gift that he gave her. Dallas is doing really well in the coffee shop. Like I said earlier, he's getting a lot out of the process. He makes coffee for Angela and I think for Sam, maybe Vicky, I can't remember. Angela was very complimentary. She said this coffee might actually be better than how Link makes the coffee. He really enjoyed hearing that. Also, Monica shows up at the coffee shop. She sees Sam. She asks Sam about, her relationship with Charles, how it's going, whether they ended up doing the do. And of course they have, maybe like twice, I can't remember. And she also kind of reassures her that, look, your feelings in this situation matter. Even though he's like, no feelings attached, like your feelings in the situation matter. And, it dictates how this whole relationship is going to play out. So Vicky and Abe tell Marshall that he has to tell Sam that he's Dion, just for the fact that they feel like she might reveal something to Dion, thinking that it's a neutral stranger, while it's actually Marshall. It's kind of like how you would feel comfortable telling like your school counselor or something rather than telling your family member. They're feeling like it could be a betrayal of trust if she reveals something that she didn't intend to reveal to someone in her life. And he's like, damn, like, does the jig have to be over? I've genuinely enjoyed playing with you guys. I'm playing with Sam because she's genuinely such a nice person. Also, Monica had told Sam to go get some condoms as well. So she goes to the store. She tries to find some. The shop assistant is being kind of a creep. Marshall is also at the store. He tells the shop assistant to take a hike to get lost. He helps her pick out what she needs to pick out. He also tells Sam that he's Dion. Sam's like, yeah, I knew. I figured it out. I know. I feel like we never found out why she felt the need to kind of keep it a secret. Although she only found out maybe like recently. She found out when he gifted her the egg. So it wasn't that long ago. But I don't think we ever got an explanation for why she felt the need to keep up the rules. Like, I don't think, like, maybe it was just to make you feel comfortable, or I could tell you didn't want to tell me, so I just kept it like that. I don't think we never ever got like a explanation for that. Okay, so in the next chapter, Vicky, who lives with Angela, had invited Link for dinner with the two of them. So it's the three of them having dinner. She's cooked and everything. It's all great. We find out that he actually used to live in a commune, and she's also playing wing woman to the both of them. So with Marshall and Sam, Marshall is talking a little bit about how he felt the need to change his name because she had asked him, why do you go by Marshall Law instead of Ben Lawson or Benjamin Lawson, which is his real name? He said, number one, for privacy reasons, which makes sense on the internet. The other reason, I mean, we as readers know this, he's felt the need to kind of create a persona because he feels like his real persona isn't fun. It's a buzz killer. Then Sam's like, okay, I see you, blah, blah, but I also feel like you should give yourself credit because you can't phone in fun. You can't phone in personalities. We as viewers can see when you're not enjoying what you're doing. So she's like, yes, it's possible that you've created this whole entire persona, but that persona is still you. It's still your true self. And then he starts to cry and it's a touching moment. And at the end of the chapter, she asks him what he feels more comfortable going by, whether he wants to go by Benjamin or Marshall. And he's like, call me Benji. And yeah. In the next chapter, we find out that Charles' wife, not only did she cheat on him when they were married, she cheated on him while she was also pregnant. He goes to Sam's place. I think he woke up from a nightmare. He goes to Sam's place at like midnight. It's basically a booty call. He tells Sam what we found out, that yes, his wife cheated on him, but she also cheated on him while she was pregnant. And then it turns out that wasn't even his son. The affair had been going on for a long time. Sam comforts him and tells him that, look, you shouldn't hold on to any kind of blame. It really wasn't your fault, and he shouldn't blame himself for what went down. So they sleep together, and then there's a drawing at the end where it kind of shows that Charles's tight leash on his emotions does stem from, the infidelity from his wife and that kind of betrayal of trust. So Ava takes Marshall to lunch, and as I said earlier, she's working in cahoots with her dad for something. She tells him that, they have a client who's looking for like a game artist. And obviously, that's something he's always been interested in. So she pitched him as a name, and she also kind of used his mom or their mom as a way to kind of make him do it. She was like, yeah, mom's worried about you. Like, she thinks you gave up on your dream, blah, blah, blah. So he takes the offer and he's like, cool, thanks. In the next chapter, it's Marshall's turn to comfort Sam. She was thinking about Charles and how she feels comfy with him when they're alone. But when they're at work, he's more cold, he's more detached. She feels less confident when they're in a work setting together. Marshall's there to kind of comfort her, and he's there as a listening ear when she's venting. In the next chapter, Charles come over. He wants to do, but she's like, hey, let's cuddle. It takes like 3 times. He asks 3 times. That's 3 times too many, in my opinion. Or 2 times too many, in my opinion. We should have just been like, no. And he should have just been like, cool. And we should have just moved on. Also, he's exhibiting very jealous traits. I told you earlier, he was looking at her and thinking, mine. He's also been looking when she's texting on her phone. When they were asleep, her phone buzzed. She got a message. He looked at her phone while she was asleep. And finally, the last chapter, last episode of this entire webtoon, we made it through to the home stretch. We're here. Everything we started ends here. The last episode, one of Sam's, secret agents, Sam Protective Service spies, tells Sam's dad that a professional blackmailer has been hanging around Sam's place, and we kind of put the two together that that's probably the person who has been taking pictures of Marshall. Because of that, he's spooked, kind of rightfully so, I guess. He's spooked. He's like, whoa, that's scary. There's a professional blackmailer hanging around my daughter's apartment. Although it could not be for him. It's possible it doesn't even concern her. So he gets spooked. He reinstates the Sam Protective Service. A bit of overkill, I must say. And we find out it's supposed to be this whole big cameo thing. We find out random people in the entire series have been part of the Protective Service the whole time. So old man who sits next to Sam on the bus is one of them. Lucy at the reception is one of them. Her dog is one of them. The president of the United States is one of them. It's just okay. And that's how the entire thing ends. Woo! I would like to give you a chapter count. So we have season 1. Season 1 was 75 episodes. Season 2 was 52. And then season 3 was 49. So as you can see, it's gradually become shorter and shorter, which is good for me because it's less time reading. But yeah, so that's kind of how it ends. We don't know whether this webtoon is going to continue. My money is on not, because I made a whole video, let's play shenanigans, but Mongi had been having problems with webtoon, yada yada yada. So we don't know whether this thing is going to continue. It's cool, it's fine, it's whatever. I do think she's developing a fantasy webtoon. She also has this game, I think, out. In terms of my likes, I like the art. The art is good. I also think that she improved on the art. I love seeing webtoon artists develop in their art, because wow, started from the bottom, now we're here. Especially because the previous art style, I didn't love it. I thought it made everyone look slightly evil. I don't know how to explain it, but slightly squirrely, slightly, so I liked how the art improved. I don't know much about art. I will say though, in some spots, I think she would use I don't know arts terms, but she would do something and then it would make the background characters look very uncanny valley. I have to assume she does this because it's easier, which is fine, especially because we're not meant to be paying attention to the background that much. But sometimes I'll just look and I'm like, what is this? In terms of also what I liked, me, I love me some Marshall and Monica. I thought they were the best. M and M. I like them individually as characters. I think they were handled well. Obviously, her not in as much detail, but I think the little flourishes added to her, I enjoyed. And I enjoyed their relationship. Is the one thing I can give Mongi. It's bittersweet to see them ending, but I see in the way that she wrote their relationship, I can see how that was the natural end. and I can leave it there and I can be fine with it. So that's what I like. What else did I like? I'm a sucker for a good family relationship. I love that in the media that I consume. So whenever Ava is being that kind of protective big sister vibe over Marshall, I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing that. It's a lot of fun, especially as you know they're probably not as close as they could be because of their family situation. I enjoy seeing that. Yeah, I think that's all I liked, y'all. I don't know. In terms of the webtoon in general, I just think that we never find out what became of Charles, why the entire young family or the young men don't like Charles, and why they distrust Charles with Sam's dad as well as Sam's older brother, why they find him manipulative. We never found that out. There was never a reason as to why he was being so cantankerous against them. Like it just, it never materialized into anything, which I didn't understand. The only thing that I'm like thinking of is that she wrote him that way without having an actual conflict, and she kind of wrote herself into a corner where it was like, I don't want to go too far because I need them to be a valid, healthy-ish relationship, kind of. So that's like, but other than that, I can't tell you why we never found out. Maybe she was holding that chip back, but like you never find out why he's written as manipulative. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Unless what they're saying that is manipulative is the fact that sometimes he fibs. I don't even see that as manipulative. In fact, I think that conflict in like season 2 when Sam was like, I think that when you lie to my dad, you're manipulative. I thought that conflict was so stupid because it like anyone with half a brain, like I don't. Anyway, let me not talk too much because like maybe you guys think it's not manipulative. I just thought it was like regular, like I don't know. I don't think it was that deep. I don't think it was that deep. There was also a lot of blushing, a lot of pouting, a lot of stuttering, a lot of curling into from Sam. It's like, okay, we get it, enough. Otipoju is okay. Okay. Like this child, it's okay. It's okay. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. I get it goes for characterization, but when you're doing things that are meant to be like adult things, when I'm seeing too childlike, it's just too jarring. It's okay. It's too much now. Too much blushing. Too much touching. Too much. It's okay. Let's calm down. Not so much in this season because Ava is pretty much cool on Charles, so there's not much interaction with Ava and Charles, so we don't really see her misogyny flare up there. But like I said in my last video, in general on the webtoon, there's some misogyny lights in terms of the choices Mongi makes. I don't think that the webtoon is meant to be misogynistic in the terms that, like, I think Mongi recognizes what misogyny is, and I think whenever she's misogynistic, it's not meant to be played straight. You're meant to see it as what it is, and you're meant to be like, that's not right. As well as the fact that we have other like mentions in the webtoon, like Monica would be like, yeah, it's a misogynistic world we live in, do whatever you want to do. So I know she knows what misogyny is. I know she didn't intend to make her webtoon misogynistic. I just think, and I won't go as far as to say it is even. I just think her choices and her thought process, the way she characterized the women that stand in the way of the love interest, I thought that was interesting. Another thing that annoyed me, and you're probably going to be thinking, Titi, why are you still carrying this thing on your head? Like, free the matter. I'm sorry, I actually can't free the matter. She still deserves an apology, and we never got that. Hold on, let me get my fan for emphasis. She never got a proper apology from Charles, and it still pisses me off to today. I don't like that. And you know what? After reading season 2, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe that was just Charles's way of communicating in general in language. You know, he's from the United Kingdom. Maybe he is characterized as being very straight laced. So I was like, okay, maybe his apologies in general, like that's how they come across. Please accept my apology. Very like from a reserved standpoint. I was like, okay, calm. Just for me to go back, because remember in my last episode, I was like, majority of their conversations with each other is apologizing to each other. And in my head, I had gotten it that it was, mostly Sam, but Charles does a lot of apologizing as well to her. And it is very much heartfelt, I'm sorry for doing this. This is why I did this. I'm sorry. Please accept my apology. Simple, simple. So that's why, and I have examples and I took screenshots. So maybe you'll be seeing them on the screen right now. So that's why it pisses me off that Ava, who actually got the most harm by Charles's hand, never got a proper, actual, genuine, heartfelt, like, this is, I'm so sorry I did this. Please accept my apology. She never got that. She got excuses upon excuses. She got, I did this because you were asking for it, but please accept my apology. Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. And that annoyed me. That annoyed me to no end. Because when I was going back, I was looking and I checked past episodes and I was like, oh, so you do know how to open your mouth and say sorry, Abby? That pissed me off. We never end up seeing that indigenous proposal. They've been talking about that indigenous for the past 3 seasons. We don't even meet any contact at that indigenous. The link between Marshall's family, so Marshall and Ava and their dad, as well as Sam's family, it's never like really explained. I think that he's meant to be like a client of their family. And I think their family is like a law firm, something like that. I know it's never really explained deeper because she knows her, even though she didn't know who she was, but she knew who she was, and she was like, "Oh, the miracle baby of Sam Young." Like, I think they know who they are. Charles also knew that Ava would know who she is, you know. So I think, I don't know, that I just think that was never really explained. In terms of predictions, I would say Marshall would have ended up being the final boyfriend, of course. I do think he's the best male love interest among the lot. Sorry to say. I never brought it up in this webtoon because I thought when it comes to side characters, yeah, side characters don't get jack shit in this webtoon. And that's because, number one, there's a lot of side characters. Number two, I don't mind if side characters don't get like their own backstories too much, because at the end of the day, we're focusing on our protagonists. That's fine. I will say though, when it comes to side characters, you have to ask yourself, who is getting backstory, and are they all mostly white? Oops. Hate to say it, hate to say it, hate to say it. But yeah, so Abe, Abe is just there. Abe is there to help. Ah, Abe is there to help Vicky. Speaking of Vicky, do you know how hard it is to like discuss Vicky and her empath powers? Because I can read it and I can understand it, but to verbally say like, yeah, Vicky used her empathetic powers when she touched someone, and that's how she knew that person was going through troubles, and so she actually saw their emotions, how they were in dire strait. Like, it's a lot, yo. It's a lot. I think Vicky's like empathy thing was a cop out. I'll allow it because it's a comic. Okay, so like I said, Marshall is going to be final boyfriend. Charles is probably going to go and take that London job, VP of operations job. Angela and Link, I mean, we've already seen the signs. They're probably going to end up a thing. My dear Monica, honestly, she's just going to be perfect the way she is. Nothing else for her. I don't know what else to tell you. Maybe his friend and Ava, because he was trying to flirt with her. But for the most part, that's it. That's it. I could go into how like I would rewrite this webtoon. Let me not say how I'd rewrite it, but like how I would have preferred things to go. I could do that, but this video is getting too long, so maybe in another shorter video if I care enough. Yeah, I feel like Will Smith in that meme, like that one, or that guy who's in that meme, but like looking very deranged and crazy with his like things. That's how I feel like right now. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your love on the entire series. Thank you for watching. Let me know what next webtoon you want me to do this kind of recapping thing in. I'd love to know. My money is on True Beauty, but you didn't hear from me. Yeah, that's it. Anything else? Also, yeah, let me know if this microphone worked. Bye. I've been talking for too damn long. Okay, bye.